Okay, so it's January 2, and Maddie's alone on a park at the Point on the Gold Coast. I went to see all of these bands. You ask yourself how a kid from Sydney who went to school at Bexley can shape the life of the Beastie Boys. Well, I can think of two. A guy born 2 days after I was, Mick Ewan, was a pro skater who did the tour in Sydney for Somersault, and that's how he spent New Year's Eve. But I couldn't make it home, so I stayed on the Gold Coast and went to the concert. I guess that, you do these things, and I had fun and didn't really talk to anyone, but just saw heaps of great bands I'd never seen before and a bunch that I'd seen a few times. Thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, the big thing was that when I came home the next week on the 10th, I went to the Annandale at Sydney and saw Bikini Kill. Played a blistering set. It was just nuts. And at the end of the set, I'm like, goofy kid, Uber fan and all the rest of it. And I walked up to Kathleen Hanna at the bar and I'm talking to her about, Capitol Theatre and 4th Street and yada yada. Of course, so that's the thing. She's thinking, okay, she's probably thinking, well, I've just done a tour where, Beck is on tour with us, and at the time he's describing, Beck was recording with Chris Blue and Sam Jane at K Records. Anyway, they did One Foot in the Grave, Girl Dreams, Arsehole, that sort of thing. Great songs, but she's sort of thinking, where the hell did you come from and why are you here? Anyway, so she didn't get much of a sense for it. But I mean, it's sort of, I wouldn't say that I had an influence on anything Kathleen did, apart from the fact that she had no idea where I was from or how I knew anything about a little town where The Simpsons started and Kurt Cobain slept in a car before selling 1 million copies of Nevermind. Yeah, but the fact is, this isn't about me meeting Kathleen and then later Kathleen marrying Adam Horowitz. This is about the fact that Kathleen was the first person to say the phrase "smells like Teen Spirit," and Kathleen loved Kurt, but saying something that she thought was smart, changed his life so dramatically that it sort of, she held that responsibility. And I realised that yesterday, because so many things I'd done had changed the way my family worked. But here's Kathleen, who's talking about, the drummer from her band and singer from a band who would go on to be so huge. And, 3 or 4 years later, had an altercation with Kurt's wife, and then she's got some kid who doesn't know shit about any of it, smarting about sort of the whole thing that I went through for, a week and a half. Like, cool, way to go, and all that sort of shit. But, I don't know. I mean, it's weird because I went to Evergreen on a Friday in '94 because Matt Groening learned to draw The Simpsons and Futurama. But so much later, I didn't even know that a band who recorded their first album in Melbourne, who played their first show 4 blocks from where I'd met Kathleen Hanna, was about to make a big stamp on my life. And that's how I learned about a great band of 3 with no bass player who wrote amazing songs. Thing is that Cora and Carrie and Janet are Kathleen's greatest friends, and if I hadn't met Jasmine and Sarah, I wouldn't know about any of them. So, yeah, you think about the fact that no matter how far or how close anything you say or do can change the value of a human life. And I've been eating glass for the last 3 weeks.